Official procedure to detail the United States Capitol uprising in 2021. Almost 18 months ago, a crowd of around 2,000 supporters of former President Donald Trump raged in a damaging frenzy at the United States Legislative Center, attempting to prevent officials from ensuring Democrat Joe Biden's unequivocal victory in the 2020 official political race. Beginning Thursday evening, Americans will receive a first-hand account of how the January 6, 2021, attack unfolded. Witnesses will testify before a legislative inquisitive panel about the preparations for the revolt, Trump's role in advancing the commotion, how he attempted to defeat political race results to ensure an additional 4-year term, and what he was doing at the White House during the frenzy that was broadcast around the world. It was a watershed moment in American history, an assault on the heart of the country's majority rule system. The Capitol is often seen as the image of an uninhibitedly chosen delegate type of government, where the strength of the administration passed quietly from one president to another. Witnesses are expected to tell the U.S. House Select Committee investigating General 6 assault, on the first of 6 days of hearings this month, some of which will be broadcast in prime time, how Trump acolytes supported the rebellion in a futile attempt to keep him in power. The Board of Trustees is planning a mix of live statements from key Trump administration insiders, recorded interviews with others, including Trump's daughter Ivanka and her better half, Jared Kushner, both of whom were White House counsels, and previously unseen video of the long stretches of tumult inside the Capitol building. The jury says it plans to hear testimony from 2 witnesses on the first evening, the British film producer Nick Quested, who recorded members of the far-right Proud Boys raging on Capitol Hill, Caroline Edwards, a U.S. State House policeman who was seriously injured when the agitators ran over the police. Fighting the agitators, Edwards sustained a horrific brain injury. Agents from the advisory group have spoken to more than 1,000 people linked to the mafia and Trump's efforts to overturn the general election results. Cassidy Hutchinson is one of them, a top collaborator to former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who recreated the intricacies of White House meetings and conversations for the board. In any case, other potential observers, including Meadows, other key Trump supporters and 5 Republican lawmakers with ties to Trump, all declined to confirm. They are likely to prevail in stalling the board's efforts to have them show up because they are afraid of a late-minute difference as a top priority. Knowles initially provided voluminous records to House examiners before declining to affirm. 2 previous Trump advisors, Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon, have been accused of contempt for Congress for refusing to testify before the panel, but the Justice Department chose not to press charges against Meadows and another former Trump aide, Dan Scavino, who also declined to testify. So far, Trump has claimed to have been duped by the reconfirmation of some fiercely contested states, despite the fact that many describes showed negligible irregularities, enough not to overturn the public result. Trump lost 6 legal challenges in the election. He mocked the legislative inquiry. The 9-member council, 7 Democrats and 2 Republicans who betrayed the former president, is expected to summon observers to represent Trump's efforts to persuade then Vice President Mike Pence to reverse the public findings reportedly plunged the political process into legitimate turmoil. In any case, Pence denied Trump's suggestions, claiming that his job as the directing official over the affirmation of votes of each of the 50 states was simply authoritarian and had no power to reverse the authority count. As it turned out, the informal outcomes in front of the authority certificate were the same as when the state includes were counted in the early hours of January 7, 2021, a 306-232 Biden triumph in the college. The Electoral College, a method of counting constituent state votes based on the known vote outcome in each state, selects the presidents of the United States. The number of constituent votes is determined by a state's population and the total number of legislators and congressional delegates. As the hearings begin, one of the panel's Republicans, Representative Liz Cheney, told CBS News on Sunday, individuals must concentrate. People should keep an eye on things and understand how quickly our majority rule framework can deteriorate if we don't protect it. Battle as if damnation. Just a short distance from the authority confirmation of his constituent misfortune, Trump convened a meeting near the White House, advising a large number of allies to go to the Capitol too. Undefined battle like damnation to hamper Biden's certificate of achievement. About 2,000 of his supporters stormed the United States Legislative Building, destroying windows and entrances, patrolling workplaces and arguing with police, injuring 140 people. 5 people died that day or shortly thereafter. During the mob, a Capitol police officer fatally shot one nonconformist. To date, no fewer than 861 people have been charged with criminal offenses committed at the Capitol. Many have faced minor intruding charges, while others have been accused of assaulting police, causing damage to the Capitol, and scouring legislative workplaces. About 306 of those arrested have confessed, many of whom were sentenced to half a month in prison. Some of those who faced punishment for the attacks were sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. The other cases remain unresolved as agents sift through massive video footage of the anarchy to identify the agitators. Trump says he supports those charged in the Capitol attack and has stated that if he runs for president in 2024 and wins, we will treat those people fairly beginning January 6. Furthermore, if pardons are required, we will grant them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly.